What's going on, guys? My name is TheBrokenMachine. The Battlefield 1 first multiplayer reveal is over. It looked amazing, and today we're going to break down some of the gameplay elements and discuss what gameplay we can expect in the full release. Let's start with the obvious: destruction. Forget Bad Company 2. This game is on a whole new level. You've got smaller destruction pieces, fences, walls, to buildings of all sizes. Not only rubble will be left when these are brought down, but craters will form and change the battlefield all over again. So don't worry too much about the buildings coming down. It's not just going to be a pile of rubble like it is in Battlefield 4. There's going to be a complete change of gameplay of these craters forming. That big airship in the sky, yes, that does come down too, and it leaves you a carcass for you to fight around inside and out. No place will be safe from this monster, as it can be fully controlled by the pilots. So this could be used in strategy to take out key points on the map. Imagine if enemies are holding a tough building to take, place the airship over the top. If it goes down, they go with it. So not only can you take out enemies hiding behind cover of all kinds, you'll be able to potentially destroy the whole area in a single act of sabotage. And that's not all. We also have dynamic weather, not the basic sandstorm coming in like we saw in Gulf of Oman, but fog, rain, sunny weather, it's all there. Whichever one the round starts with could have a huge effect, not only on the playdowns available in the map you're playing, but on the whole game itself. Imagine that tower we're seeing in this video. It could be useful 1 minute and then another a complete waste of time. I'm not entirely sure how it's coded, but I do hope there's some variation here and not too much randomness. Dynamic weather is all good, but there needs to be a mixture. Imagine starting sunny then raining at the end, or a brief moment of fog during the middle of a battle. Wouldn't it be cool if there were some slightly scripted weather moments that could appear randomly? Imagine two teams really bashing the hell out of each other, really close ticket count, 5 tickets to go, and the sun comes out. That would be something, wouldn't it? Like a moment of victory. I think that would be kind of cool, but not all the time, just in places. Now let's go more in depth with the vehicles and what they may contribute to the overall gameplay. The airship again is fully user controlled, take it anywhere, it's not on rails, which would have been one of my biggest concerns, and I don't mean on tracks like a train, I mean on rails like in Battlefront. So it not being on rails, we're not going to see the same old situations over and over, it's going to be new every single game. The mounted gunners will surely be powerful, but without the sophisticated weaponry that the modern Battlefield games have, like the AC-130, I don't think they will be too visually easy to use and will take a bit more skill. So hopefully that means less spam, such as the AC-130 was back in previous Battlefield games, and hopefully it will be more enjoyable to see such a weapon in the sky. With iron sights, you've got to take your time with the aiming, whereas with the AC-130 it's very precise and a little too easy. Like the planes, these guys up in the air are going to be vulnerable, so expect more shots on pilots and gunners. From what we saw, pilots could really get very close to the ground, so expect more air versus infantry combat to take place. Also, teamwork in the planes will be vital to getting rid of those airships. Not only the airship, but the armoured train and the dreadnought battleship will be, as far as we know, fully controllable. Hopefully, the battleship isn't on rails and we can use it and go around the map. I think that would be awesome. The tanks, from what we saw, were quite slow but had many gunner seats, so expect them to be quite powerful, and their weaknesses will lie in their speed. So teamwork will be necessary not only for the attackers but the defenders to keep the tanks alive or take them out. Judging from the gameplay that we've seen so far, I don't think the tanks will be too dominant. With the right players, yes, but that's a lot of people in the tank. So some assault players on them, they're going to take them out quite easily. And that's going to be a lot of kills in a short amount of time. Taking out an entire squad is really going to leave the enemy team having a tough time. The other vehicles, such as the armoured Rolls Royce, or at least what I imagine it was, the motorbikes and even horses will be much faster and more suitable for supporting roles and pushing those objectives. So maybe expect players to be able to move around the map at a similar speed to previous Battlefield games, but with the tanks falling much more behind. Plenty of weapons were shown. SMGs looked very powerful up close. Side-loading magazines looked awesome. Those using snipers seemed to have a little difficulty adjusting for bullet drop. No judgments from me, it was just a beta, but it did look like the sniper class took more skill. Mounted guns could be seen across the map, but not too many, so not too spammy I hope. Iron sights were plenty, with a few scopes here and there, this all resulting in quite possibly some of the most potentially skilled gameplay any Battlefield game to date. Without the coyote and red dots that dominate Battlefield 4, players are going to have to make sure they do have their aim on target. Iron sights are not always easy, particularly at longer ranges, so expect those scope weapons to have an advantage. No more coyotes dominating the battlefield. Headshots are usually powerful in Battlefield, so expect in this iteration for them to be quite necessary, but also maybe to expect less of them. Why? Because iron sights are harder and it may not be worth the time to adjust for the head. Whereas in Battlefield 4, a coyote sight to the head wasn't too hard. You had a lot of view here, it was quite easy, but when you're using the iron sights, it is difficult. I mean, if the opponent is standing still, yes, quite simple, but if they're moving across the map and going up and down on the screen, it's going to be tricky. So I think you'll be seeing a lot of players aiming for the chest and then going for the headshots if the enemies are standing still. I think the addition of melee attacks will change the feel of close quarter combat, and this may indicate what we'll be seeing more in the future. I think we'll be expecting more close quarter maps in the final release. Now, I don't mean fully like the Battlefield 3 DLC or maps like Operation Locker, but a lot more trenches at the very least. From the gameplay that we've seen, the trenches were quite wide, so the tanks could join in and have a party quite nicely, but the smaller, narrower, tighter ones will prove difficult for the tanks, and infantry will reign supreme. Let's hope they have enough of those. There was a few shown in the original trailer. I do hope there's a mixture of them. I'm not big on history with World War I, so I'm not too sure, what kind of battles there were, and were there always narrow ones or were they always wide? I don't. Not were they always, but were they, what was the main thing that was going on? What were they mostly wide or were they mostly narrow? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and if you know more about that, let me know in the comments below. A minor concern of mine about the melee attacks was the bayonet charge, but from viewing the footage, it appears that once you start moving, that's it, you open yourself to attack too. So my concerns about it are, they're okay now. I was worried that it was just going to be one of those attacks that you just press, like the commando knife in Modern Warfare 2, you just press it and it just zaps to them, but it looks okay. It will be interesting to see just how useful the charge is as an evading tactic, maybe even useful in pushing up the map quicker. Will there be a stamina bar with this? How long can you charge for? Too long and the battlefield could end up looking pretty ridiculous. We have also been told that you can actually vault over higher objects now and climb up, offering new routes and ways of getting around the map and potentially flanking your opponent. Honestly, I would prefer it if you had to help your teammates get over places. I think that would be much more enjoyable and more teamwork, but this looks cool. It does look cool. As for classes, assaults are now the experts at blowing things up. Support for the resupplies once again, medics can heal teammates and repair vehicles too, and scouts focus on reconnaissance. In other words, sniping and spotting enemies. Visually, each class will be unique. The medics will, for example, have crutches on their backs. So the assault is going to be powerful once again, but they've lost that healing ability that allowed them to dominate in previous games. Teamwork will certainly be more important now than ever. So you Operation Locker addicts out there, no more medic bags for you. It's going to be a lot tougher for you guys to boost your stats. Now, just joking, if you enjoy Operation Locker, that's fine, but there's a lot of players out there who just go on that map and just try to boost their stats up. Not that great if you ask me, but anyway, 3D spotting returns and I'm not too keen on it. I think this might prove quite annoying once again in the final release. It all depends on how the maps and modes play out though. But yeah, first thoughts, I'm not too keen on that. You know, I like being able to have those stealthy moments and those flanking moments, but if one guy across the map can just press R2 on the controller and just spot you, and then the whole enemy team knows exactly where you are, that's not something that I really enjoy. And there's plenty of situations where if that wasn't in the game, in Battlefield 4, I could have easily armed the objective or got around the back and really helped out my team. So it's one of those things that, you know, you can be doing your best, playing as a team, loads of teamwork, and then the opposite side can just press one button and that's it. You've lost, all that effort has gone. So not a big fan of that. We only saw Conquest in the live stream, but there are new modes. In Operations, the outcome of the round carries over to the next map. This is going to be based upon real battles of World War I. This will be focusing on frontline combat and team play, each area looking and playing very differently and changing in scale and size. Attackers will storm in via various infantry and vehicles, defenders will hear alarms going off signaling an incoming attack, and will be able to defend with stationary machine guns and cannons. That sounds awesome, really looking forward to this. I'm not too sure if this is the Rush equivalent, but if it is, I do hope it is awesome. There is no confirmation of Rush, my favourite game mode. Let's hope if it's not included that this new Operations is a good replacement. You know, I don't want to be one of those guys who just bashes the game because it doesn't have a mode that was in a previous one. If they change it up, they make something new, that's fine with me. Let's just hope they do it right. If Rush is in there, you know, that's awesome as well. This mode, I imagine, will be where the battleships, the armoured trains with guns and airships really come into their own and separate these modes from the standard Conquest. So far, this game is looking fantastic. One thing I am concerned about, and you guys who have been watching my channel for a long time will know what it is, and that is suppression and how much that affects gameplay. But until I try the game myself, I'm going to leave my thoughts on that one for a new video. My name is TheBrokenMachine. I am the battlefield. Calm down. Excuse me, I'm not sure what happened there. Yes, until next time, guys, my name is TheBrokenMachine. I like to play the objective, and if you do too, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, guys, take it easy. See you soon.